Hey, what's up? So y'all probably clicked on this video because y'all want to do some animating on YouTube, or you just want to know how to become an animator. But unfortunately, that's not quite what this video is going to be about. And most of the animation that you see on YouTube isn't actually animation. It's more just like a bunch of pictures that they have lined up scene by scene by scene to make it look like they're moving. So sorry to burst the bubble, by the way. But what this video is going to be about is how to make it into the animation industry and just how impossibly hard it actually is to do that. So let's get started by explaining to you that there are levels to this.
There's levels to this! There's levels!
When I say there's levels to this, I mean more so like it's like a straight line, and in that straight line there's a couple of pivots up and down. Those up and down pivots are the different areas in which the animation can be done. So the animation is the same process all the way through. You just want to make things go from not moving in this set to moving in the next set and the next set and the next set, and you want to make it move all the way through. But there's different ways to achieve this, and each different way comes with its own set of difficulty. So first off, we have 3D or CGI style animation, which has become increasingly popular with TV, feature films, and even video games. Now this one is probably going to be a little bit bigger of a software rig, but it's definitely a little bit easier for beginners to get a hold of. Basically, the way this animation software is going to work is that you will have bones that you connect to parts of the body of your animation creation, and then you will use those bones to move, and you will use it every keyframe or every other keyframe or every 3 keyframes, however you prefer to animate it, to make it look like things are moving by using the bones to move specifically. So it's a little bit easier in the sense of the animation itself, but probably a little bit harder to get the software, find out which software works better, and actually learn how to use said software. Next up, we have 2D hand-drawn animation, which by far sounds like the most painstaking and headache-inducing one out of all of the different types that you can animate. In the old days, they would draw it hand by hand by hand for each frame, and then they would just put it together and flip it, and it would like flip and make the animation. And then they would send it off to a painter to have him paint cells over top of it, which would give you the color and the vibrance and all that other stuff. Nowadays, they just put it into a computer, and they use a software to kind of compile the color, compile each shot. And so basically all the artist is actually responsible for is the drawing of the characters, the drawing of the settings, and then they would just manipulate the rest of that through a computer software. Definitely doesn't sound easy, but now that technology's here, it sounds a lot easier than how it used to be done. So a step up from that, we have the 2D rig animation style, and this one is similar to the 2D hand drawn, and it's also similar to the 3D. It's kind of like a mix of both. So basically what you do is you would take a 2D template and you put it into a software, and then you connect bones to it, and then you use those bones to animate frame by frame. This one is a lot easier than 2D hand-drawn, and it's probably a lot less on a software rig, and maybe a little bit easier than the 3D. But chances are if you get this one, then 3D probably isn't super hard for you. This animation style is actually becoming a little bit more popular. Shows like Rick and Morty do a 2D animation rig style, and if you're familiar with Rooster Teeth, a lot of their animations inside of Rooster Teeth are 2D rig animations, such as Ruby and stuff like that. So it's actually becoming a little bit more popular, and I think once people get a grasp on it, it'll actually become really prominent inside of like the animation industry. Third up, we have probably the absolute most painstaking and hard one to do, and that is stop motion animation. So stop motion animation is you just take things, put them in somewhere, and then you capture a picture and you make them move a little bit, capture a picture, make them move a little bit, capture a picture. There's easier ways to do it than how I just described it. They have cameras that will actually just like snap pictures continuously, so that when you move it, it's snapping at all times constantly. And so, it's probably a little bit easier than how I just made it out to be, and they probably have a lot of technology around it that makes it easier. But you got to think about the first person who thought to do this and how absolutely god-stakingly difficult it must have been for him. So your very first step in getting into the animation industry is finding one of these animation styles, finding which one fits best for you, and focusing on a realm in which you can succeed at that style. Instances being, if you want to do 3D animation, you're probably want to stick into the high-end films or video games because that's predominantly where it's used. If you want to use 2D hand-drawn or 2D rigged, you're going to want to definitely stay within the animation section. So like you're going to want to find an animation studio that deals in anime or hand-drawn American cartoons, which hand-drawn American cartoons aren't that popular anymore. I'm pretty sure most American cartoons are 3D style or 2D rig style, and most 2D rig style, they're not really going to focus on your penmanship with a pencil. So you're probably going to want to really figure out which place you want to go to and what they deal with in terms of the animation style that they have. Also, if you want to do the stop motion one, I don't know a lot of stop motion video, like movies, TV shows, anything. So if you want to do stop motion, I would have to imagine that you're going to want to look in high and low places that you would not normally look at, because it's probably going to be a very saturated market. dealing with the fact that there's probably not a lot of them, and the ones that there are pretty good at their job. Now, how do you translate one of these different fields of animation and the fact that you have no experience into a job in the animation industry? Well, it's actually pretty simple for all 4 different forms of animation. You pretty much have the exact same, blueprint for how you're going to get into the animation industry. So first off, have a pretty solid resume, which already sounds like impossible, because if you have just a bunch of schools on there but no actual work experience, then they're already looking at you like, yo, this dude is butt cheeks. But the one thing that you can do is make sure that you have a lot of skills, and make sure that you have a wide, vast array of animation techniques, of styles of drawing, of penmanship, and stuff of that nature, so that way you look more appealing to the common eye. So that way they see you and they're like, all right, so this dude wants to be a 2D hand-drawn artist, but he seems to have some rig expertise. He seems to have a little bit of expertise in Photoshop, maybe a little bit in Flash, like broaden your spectrum a little bit. Even if that's not the preferred area that you want to be in, you might make yourself more appealing if you have expertise in those areas as well. Second, you're going to want a demo reel, and a demo reel is basically just a set of animations that you would consider really, really like prideful and amazing, that you would show to anybody. Like anybody that asked you, you would absolutely show it to without a shadow of a doubt. And a demo reel is more than just an animation, it's more of your own style of animation. So when you show them a demo reel, do not show them 4 or 5 things that you animated to look as good as possible. Show them 4 or 5 things that you animated with your own style, your own flair, your own creativity. It can have some flaws in it as long as it looks like your work, and they can say, dang, this dude has an edge to him that I like, which is what makes it your demo reel and not just a demo reel. You know what I'm saying? And the last thing that you're going to do is make sure that you have a solid portfolio website, because this will make you stand out from everybody else, and make sure that it looks very professional instead of just being like, yo, this is my site, bro, what's up? Like, you want to make sure that that stuff looks like really, really good, so that way when they go to it, they see it and they go, yo, this man has his stuff on lock. And you're going to want to put your demo reel there and your resume and all that other stuff so that way they can see it. And another thing that I saw while I was like researching this is a lot of websites and a lot of different people who are in the industry, which anybody online can be in the industry, but a lot of them said that networking is key. You're going to want to build bridges, and you're going to want to make sure you stay like networked with people that were in that industry, because that's the best and easiest way to get into the industry, is to make sure that you know people that were in it and have them vouch for you, because once you're in, you're in. And if you're in, you can get somebody else in far easier than somebody who is just kind of starting out. So if you go to a school and you get a degree, find a teacher, let them mentor you. If you have a job where you're sort of doing a little bit here and there of that and this and that, find a person that knows what they're talking about, let them mentor you, and use them to get into the industry. Networking is key in a lot of jobs, and it seems like an animation where the job market is pretty scarce and kind of like saturated, networking is going to be the go-to way to get to it. So I hope you guys liked the video on me telling you how to get into the animation industry. Anybody who wants to be an animator, hit me up, because I love hearing about the pride and the joy that people have doing their thing. That's it for me, y'all. I'm Camping. I'm out. Peace.
Run it up, yeah, ooh, 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 run it up, run it up, run it up, yeah, ooh, run it up, run it up, run it up, yeah, ooh, 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 run it up, run it up, run it up, yeah, ooh, run it up, run it up, run it up, yeah, yeah, up in the air like a height, higher than you like a kite, I got the light, you can't be mad cause I'm doing it right, no lean in my sprite, I keep my manners, they like my delight, got the armor of God, my spirit be looking like I am a knight, got big appetites, I up Fahrenheit, you saved your name, well I'ma come through and I will overwrite, my lyrics are tight, my clarity bright, lot personalities, that's why I want you to get on my sight.